Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Porter, and today we're going to do a game review over Outriders. Outriders is a third-person sci-fi RPG shooter, and in this quick review, there's going to be no spoilers, and it's going to be broken down in 6 different categories, which is the story, graphics and sound, combat, character development, co-op, and game depth. After I do those 6 categories, I'm going to give it an overall rating, and then I'm going to give a recommendation if you should buy it on sale, or if you should just pass completely. But if you find this video helpful or entertaining in any way, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. But let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, let's talk about the story of Outriders. So the Earth is no longer inhabitable. It is basically deteriorating, and there's war, and there's not very many resources left. So 2 ships basically travel space, and 1 ship makes it to this Earth-like planet that is called Enoch, and the Outriders go to explore it, and shortly after they go to explore it, an anomaly storm hits them, and your Outrider character that you created is really wounded, and he is put into a cryo chamber for 31 years. After waking up from the cryo chamber, your character is now altered, and there is a civil war among the people. So the story is pretty easy to follow for the most part. It's not really in depth, so those people who really like a whole lot of lore and really depth and intricate type of stories aren't gonna get it from Outriders. But if you want a nice story to just kind of progress and to follow along with, Outriders is pretty easy to follow with. Alright, as far as graphics, I think this game looked amazing. I thought there was really beautiful scenery, which is really nice. You had forest, you had desert, you had snow, you had mountains, and there was even more than that. It was just really nice as you progressed. It really broke up different sceneries and different types of locations, and I thought they looked absolutely great. I played this on PC, and it just looked really, really good. As far as the sound, in general, it was pretty solid for the most part. Nothing was amazing, nothing was like really bad. So overall, the sound was pretty good. The combat for this game was really enjoyable. It was really smooth, and the fights felt engaging and fun. From the beginning of this game to the end of this game, I thought it was absolutely fun to play and fight the enemy. There was a lot of versatility to this game. There's a lot of different weapon types, and there's a lot of different like variations. So the guns never got old just because there was just so many different variations. And as well as with the armor, there's a lot of variations. As for the skills, you got quite a few different skills you can pick from, and then to build off of the skills, you have different classes to make those skills even stronger. So between the gunplay, the armor, and the skills and the classes, there's a lot of different things that you can do to take down your enemy. I played as a pyromancer, so I was a little bit squishier. I had to take cover a lot, but I relied heavily on my skills, or to use my skills to buff my weapons, and I found that really fun to do. So let's talk about character development. The strongest character in this game is definitely the Outrider that you created. The Outrider is so fun, so engaging. It definitely surprised me what they did in some of the scenes. Your Outrider character is just so cutthroat, dark at times, and just does what they want to do. Essentially, your Outrider character is a badass. As far as the other characters though, they suffer definitely from acting. Some parts were definitely cringe, but there's a couple of characters that are okay, but some of them were pretty bad. But definitely the main character saves the story basically as you progress through the story. The co-op in this game is a lot of fun. Just like most games, when you play with other people, it's even more fun. Half of this game I played by myself, and the other half I played with one of my buddies. And then a couple other times I loaded in with a couple of randoms, just kind of see how that went, and it was enjoyable. I do want to know, when I played with my buddy, and when I played with the randoms as well, the game got significantly harder, I feel like, especially in some spots. So just kind of keep that in mind. I feel like soloing it was easier, but when you played with other people, it was definitely harder. But overall, it was a great experience. I'm glad they had co-op in it, and it was a lot of fun. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the game depth, and we're going to start in the inventory because there's a lot going on here. So on the left side of your screen is going to be your offense, then the right side of your screen is going to be your defense. So over here on the offense side, it's really nice. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of gun variety and different variations, so it keeps the game fresh, and you never want to get attached to one gun because you will find a better one shortly. So just keep that in mind. And just like any looter, there's different tiers of weapons. So you have your white, green, blue, purple, and your gold for legendary. So let's go ahead and take a look here at one of the guns. And they do a pretty good job at doing a layout of exactly what the gun does between your damage and your different buffs, or how accurate the gun is and how big the clip size is. So I think they did a really good job on the layout of this, so you know exactly what's going on, and it's easy to decide between, which gun suits you or which one's better. So as we look here on the top, it'll show your overall firepower, how strong your offense is, and then it'll show your anomaly power, which is your skill, and the higher the number, the stronger your skill is. Alright, so let's take a look at defense over here. So you have your overall health and your armor. The stronger armor piece that you get, the higher this number will go up. So just like the guns, it does an in-depth analysis of what is going on with this particular armor piece, which is really nice. So it shows you how strong it is, as well as it shows you the buffs that it gives towards your skills. And it's pretty nice. They got a armor piece for each part of the body. Alright, this is the skill section, and this is obviously for the pyromancer. So for the most part, the skills were really fun to use. They were satisfying, but there was a couple of them that were they were okay, or I didn't really like them, and I didn't touch them much. But for the most part, they were really fun to use for this particular character. So let's go ahead and take a look at the class here. So you have 3 different trees, and I went with the bottom tree initially just because that's what I was building my character towards. But if you don't like your build, or you decide to put on different abilities or try something new, you can reset your tree, which is an added bonus. You have 4 different characters you can choose from. The first one's the Devastator. He is a close range tank. Then you have the Pyromancer, which he's the character that I picked for my first run, and he does a lot of damage with his abilities. The Technomancer is a long range support type character. And then the last one is the Trickster. He's another close range type character, but he's built on speed and hit and run type tactics. The quest map is where you're going to see all of your missions. You currently don't see any on mine just because I have beat the game, but this is where you'll see all your quests, whether it's the main mission, side quest, bounties, or hunts. So there's a lot of good variety of different kind of missions, which definitely keeps you engaged with the game as you progress. So here for the world tier, you have world tier 1 through 15. As you progress through the game and your character gets stronger, you'll unlock new world tiers, and the game will get harder, but you'll get rewarded with better gear, and you'll have a higher percentage of unlocking better gear. Now, at any point, if the game starts to get too hard, you can bump down the world tier at any time, and then once you feel comfortable, you can bump it up at any time. So it's kind of nice that you can freely move that around throughout the game if you want to. I think that's a nice feature. The overall rating I'm going to give Outriders is an 8 out of 10. I think this is a great game. When it first came out, I thought it'd be a good game to play, but it ended up really surprising me. It ended up being really, really good. The biggest surprise to me was probably the length of the game. When I was about halfway through the game, I thought I was getting ready to wrap up, and I thought it was going to be on the shorter side, but it ended up surprising me and ended up being a lot longer, and showing different environments and showing different progressions to the story, which was a pleasant surprise. So even if this game is at full price, I would recommend buying, but if you can get it on discount or on sale, I think it would be a steal of a pickup. Alright, that does it for the Outriders game review. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Make sure to port her up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.